This right here, they are the only type of dates ever worth spending your hard-earned cash on. Medjool dates. They're in the refrigerated section. Don't fuck around with that cheap shit that's on the grocery store shelves. Go to the grocery store, go to the refrigerated aisle, pick yourself up some Medjool dates. They are the king. Couple of slight alterations or modifications to how I go about my first meal of the day. Just wanted to run through them quickly. So first one is I don't include any Greek yogurt in my protein concoction anymore. The second one is I keep it deconstructed like this, so that way the rice cakes don't go soggy from the powdered peanut butter, because obviously you reconstitute powdered peanut butter with water, and the water from that, if it's sitting on the rice cakes too long, makes the rice cakes go soggy and it loses that crunch factor, which I don't like. So I just do it this way and have it disassembled, and I basically assemble it rice cake by rice cake, one at a time, and that way everything stays nice and crisp, no issues whatsoever. I can sit here, talk while I've got my meal in front of me without any concern for the rice cakes going soggy. So it's fantastic. And the reason that I don't include the Greek yogurt anymore is, one, it tastes better. It's a little bit less tart. The Greek yogurt makes things tart, obviously. And two, it just decreases the total protein amount in the meal, because before it was about 65 grams of protein, which is a little bit too much for my liking. Now it's around about 50 grams of protein. So it's just got the protein powder, the International Protein Synergy, code Nicholas20 for 20% off. It's got the cacao powder, the flax hemp chia meal, so like a blend of the flaxseed, hemp seed, chia seed ground into a fine meal. And then it's just, reconstituted with water, topped with blueberries, medjool dates, a little bit of cinnamon, a bit of honey. Always got to go Manuka honey, because Manuka is the best. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bone up the teeth. So basically just take one rice cake like this, and then you scoop out the powdered peanut butter. I don't know why I'm even demonstrating this. Even a complete spastic could do this, but here we are. Here I am demonstrating how to put powdered peanut butter on a fucking rice cake. And then, just squirt this on. And I've been weighing this out every day without fail for the last however many months. Going on, I think, well over 12 months now. And so I know exactly how many grams almost that I'm putting on there. So that's about 4 grams of honey. So yeah, it's basically that. And then bone up the teeth. All right, another commentary for you. So this is, I believe, my second training session in my current training block, but it is on a Monday, and that's because I start my training week on Sunday. So my first training session is a limbs session, and that's on Sunday. Then I have my first torso session on Monday, and basically alternate between limbs and torso sessions until I get to Friday. I rest on Saturday, and then I repeat the process again on Sunday. But if you define the start of the week as Monday, then in your mind, this would be my first session of the week. So legs are feeling quite sore from yesterday, or from the day prior to this session, I should say. I remember sitting down on the bench was quite uncomfortable, but you've got to do what you've got to do. And there's always an acclimation period when you go from training something, say, once a week to twice a week, or in my instance, training something twice a week to go into training it 3 times a week. So now that I'm hitting everything 3 times a week, my body's just a little bit delayed in acclimating and adjusting to that higher frequency. But it will catch up. It will eventually get there. So yeah, this was my first torso session. And the lifts themselves were honestly pretty solid. Training's finally starting to move again now that I'm not in a calorie deficit anymore. So that's always nice. I mean, there was a period there, you'll probably remember if you've been watching my videos for a while, where I was incline Smith pressing 2 plates per side, and I was struggling to match reps every week. And I just had to realize I needed to kind of cut my losses and wrap the deficit up. It had reached its expiration date, and it was time to give my body a bit of a break and just sit around maintenance calories for a while. Whether I dip into a surplus or not, I've yet to decide. I don't think I will. I think I'll just stick around maintenance. Right now, glycogen's replenished and body weight's kind of stable and sitting around that 99, 100 kilo mark, so about 220 pounds. But yeah, training is finally starting to move again in an upward direction. And that alone has been a pretty big relief, just to feel some momentum again. The weights that felt, I guess, challenging for months are kind of not too challenging now. And I mean, the incline Smith press I'm hitting PRs on now, which I'm stoked about. And there's this sense of, okay, we're finally building again now. So it's really, really nice. But even with that progress, I've been wrestling with something mentally lately that I wanted to touch on. And it's something that I think a lot of lifters do run into inevitably and eventually, especially if they've gone from being assisted to no longer being assisted like I have. It's hard to be satisfied with where you are and what you've already seen, what your ceiling used to look like, if that makes sense. When you know what you were capable of or what you've achieved in the past, and there's a big disparity or disconnect between that and what you're able to achieve right now, it can be a little bit disheartening. And for me, that's been a real challenge as of late, because as good as these sessions do feel right now, they're not resemblant of the numbers that I used to be able to hit, or not even the pace at which I used to be able to progress, or the trajectory that I just once took for granted. And I do catch myself doing the thing that I tell people to not do all the time, which is compare my present version of myself to the past version of myself, who I guess had more tools at their disposal, let's just say that, to be able to recover faster, improve almost session to session without any interruption, grow at a much faster pace. And I'll say this, once you've been at an all-time high, once you've lived in that space where everything responds so quickly and you feel borderline superhuman, coming down from that is very jarring. Even if you're improving, even if things are still going well, relatively speaking, it still feels slow compared to what you remember. And that's where the frustration does begin to creep in. But here's the thing that I am reminding myself of. Progress isn't measured against your best day from years ago. It's measured against the day that you lived yesterday. And right now, that curve is finally pointing in an upward direction again. Like, calories are in a better place. Therefore, energy availability is better. Recovery is more predictable as a result. And my training feels like it's actually gaining some traction for the first time in a while, instead of just stalling and basically nose to grindstone just to be able to maintain my strength and not go backwards, which is what it was like in the deficit. And this matters more than whatever numbers I might have hit, say, 2 or 3 years ago. Those versions of me, they aren't here anymore. As much as I might miss certain aspects of it, it all belonged to a different chapter of my life, so to speak. But what is here right now is the opportunity to build something new, perhaps a little bit slower than I would like or that I am used to, but something that's honest and earned still at the end of the day. And this ties into the bigger theme that I wanted to kind of touch on today in this video. Whether it's comparing yourself to someone else in the gym or comparing yourself to a past version of you, the outcome of doing so is ultimately inherently the same. You take all of your focus away from the work in front of you in doing so, and you stop valuing the progress that is happening in the present moment. And then you sabotage your ability to appreciate the fact that you are moving forward, even at all. So it's easy to get lost in how strong you used to be or how lean or how muscular you used to be, but that doesn't help you. And all it really does is steal your attention from the only version of you that matters, which is the one who actually shows up today the present version of you. And I'm finally out of a deficit now. I'm finally building my lifts up, finally feeling everything click again. And if I spend this whole phase obsessing over what I used to be able to do or how I used to look, I'm going to miss out on enjoying the process and enjoying what I'm actually slowly achieving right now. So if you are in that spot as well, if you're, say, coming back from being in a deficit like I am, or going from being assisted to no longer assisted like I am, or some sort of layoff due to a health issue or just life shit in general, I want you to just remember that your best from the past is not your baseline, if that makes sense. And your struggles right now don't define your identity. Your rate of progress doesn't have to be akin to that of your old self. It just has to be some form of measurable progress. And I'm learning to be proud of the small wins again, as difficult as it is. I'm learning to be more appreciative of the kind of progress that I'm able to achieve, even though it's not at the same pace that I was once capable of progressing at. And I guess I'm also learning, or I should say relearning, that rebuilding is its own form of strength in a way. So just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll wrap up the voiceover here, but I believe there's a little bit left to this training session, some reverse flies after I get through this set of behind the neck press. So I'll let the audio take over now.
Oh.